Welcome to the Rift mountain bike stage race recap of stage 4. Today there was mostly gravel.
Yeah.
I think.
Jason and Maddy were happy.
I wasn't actually that happy with it. It was very chunky gravel, very Icelandic gravel, I feel like. 4 or 5 miles. I didn't start my Garmin right away. So we go up a climb and then down a climb and it's paved. And I didn't have my Garmin started till we took a left-hand turn onto like a couple more miles of gravel or road. And then
Chase, think about those loss stats.
I know that's
Those watts you put
He's already
out.
been on Strava. And
Trying to figure them
He's
out.
already upset that
Yeah, that is rough, to be fair.
And then we hit another decently long paved climb. And near the top of that, I think, was where we turned left. And then it was pretty chunky, kind of, up and down, like side to side 2-track. But not like in the States, we've got 2-track and it's pretty smooth and it's dirt. Here it's like still super rough, big, like, softball sized rocks all over the place. So it looked like a pretty smooth trail, and then you hit a couple of those and all of a sudden you're like ping, ping, ping. And it's like
to watch out.
it was almost the rest of the way. I mean, there was a really long paved bit at the very end, and then the last 2 miles were single track. So for a mountain bike stage race, on the longest stage that was nearly 48 miles, the only single track part were the last 2 miles was like...
I was so happy because, I didn't have to... I was going to say I didn't have to get off my bike at all, but actually on one of the... There was like a steepish climb that was loose, and I did put my foot down and have to walk a little bit. But I didn't, on any descent today, have to get off and walk, which tells us that it wasn't very tricky mountain biking.
I was actually missing the long downhills for the bit of rest, and it was just 3 hours of consistent chain tight pedaling is the best way of
Apart from the last 3 miles.
Yeah,
that was literally it.
I just kept looking at my Garmin and I'm like, okay, only 10 more miles to go, only 5 more miles to go. And I set a false finish line in my head at mile 40 just to like okay, we only got, I was lying to myself. This is brutal. Yeah. In my head, I was complaining, I think, the whole entire stage because Drew had me on like my limit from start to finish.
I think it's also like when it's like consistent gravel all day, you're always pushing against a surface. So like it feels like you're working hard even if it's flat.
Cold, wet, rainy. Normally I love those stages because people just mentally crack, but I think I was one of the people like...
And then you come out of the single track and it was... every other stage has been like a pretty straight shot into town, and I loved the finish here. It felt like European cyclocross. You're like weaving in and out of trees. There were some people just standing around watching. You're like, you jump on a street and then jump off a street, and it was... I thought it was cool. And plus the weather, it being kind of cold, kind of rainy, definitely brought back a lot of cyclocross memories for me.
It felt like an urban crit, like off-road crit.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was really, really cool.
And then we finished right on the, not a pier, but is it a pier?
Yeah.
Right on the
Like right
coast.
on the coast, yeah.
Yeah. We started watching Eurovision because what's the name of the town?
Husavik.
Husavik is the town where the whole movie Eurovision's based out of. And the opening scene is that where, like, I pointed to him and was like, we finished right there, and it's and the restaurant we ate at is right, and that's the opening scene of the movie Eurovision.
You guys can go first on how your race went.
Okay, so I'll start. We were actually quite tactical today. I feel like our race was like a bit of a tactical race because we knew this was the most on paper suited to us because of the lack of technical mountain bike. So Tom kind of set a pace on the first climb because he wanted to like split it out so the pairs that we were racing potentially dropped from that front group. And I was like, I need to make sure I'm as far forward as possible so that when it splits, I'm in the front half of that split.
We're kind of thinking that there's not a lot of people in the pack now which proactively will want to drive the pace. But we also know that we are stronger on hills and on flattish non-technical roads than a lot of our competitors. So we're like, let's just maximize where we can make time and make as much time as possible where we can make time.
So we split basically into a front group, and then I don't really know what happened behind, but in the front group was you guys, like a few other pairs, and then I was like hanging on to the back of that front group, and then Tom went on the front because he was like, do you know what I'm gonna do? No one's got a motive to like make this move, but obviously we've got a motive to make it move faster than anyone.
That's what you were doing.
Yeah, because no one.
I saw you come like buzzing by. I was like, maybe he's just wants a turn.
So we'd already made the split by that point, and I look back.
Oh, and so a bunch of your
everyone we were racing were not in that group.
Yeah. All our competitors
okay.
were in the other group.
Okay.
So I'd already made the split, and I was like, well.
So he goes to the front, pushes the pace, and like everyone in the group surges to try and like get back on, causes a gap in the group, and then me and the other woman who was in the group were like, oh gosh. And then her partner was next to her, so pushed her back onto the group. My partner was causing the problem. So I was like,
should have said, hey, me next.
I literally, I almost did, but I just went, Tom!
Oh, that's good.
And called him back. It was a good like recall test.
Chase had to do a Drew call today because I jumped over the fence first, and the two guys were between us, and then I started pedaling before he got over the fence. So then it was a gap, and then Chase was like, Drew!
Hit the gravel. On the first like steeper gravel like climb bit, I lost the wheels, so I was like, I called Tom back. Tom, I've dropped. And then, to be honest, you don't get that much of a draft effect on that kind of gravel anyway. So then we just kind of rode our own race, and there was one mixed elite pair in front of us, but we knew we had a big gap on everyone else behind because of getting in that front group. And I felt like my tyre something felt funky on my bike, and I was convinced I had a puncture in my rear wheel. And I was like, Tom, can you look at my rear? Like, do I have a puncture? And you were like, no, it's fine. And then I went, okay, wait, look at my front. And I had a flat. So we pulled over, fixed the flat, didn't fix it successfully. A few partners passed us. Then we had to stop again. Then I plugged it. We fixed it successfully the second time, but it was like an awkward sidewall puncture. But yeah, we lost maybe 4 minutes, 5 minutes.
4 or 5, yeah.
Which was a bit of a shame because we were absolutely motoring.
And then we just worked incredibly well after that point. We were just hugely motivated, a little bit pissed off by the puncture, and just, worked efficiently to claw everyone back.
And like we had to tactically, like when we came past people, I'd like really push the pace to go past them. So they were like, oh, there's no way that we're going to be able to get on. And then at the end, we ended up on a road climb with another pair, and they kind of like sat in. We like had echeloned, and I knew we had this single track descent coming. And like as we got to the steep part of the climb, I was like, I cannot go to that single track with other people because I know that I'm the slowest down the single track. So I was like, right. We didn't communicate, like, but both of us knew what was going to happen. So I like pushed the pace, and like Tom kept the pace with me. And then he actually then, after I'd kind of like done a bit of an effort, he then like gave me some little boosts up the back, which helped me recover. And then I have to say, best I've descended this whole week down that single track. I think it was that little bit of pressure. We actually caught the lead pair in our category at the top of that descent, and we weren't going to catch them on the descent. I knew that, but I was like, I want to hold off like people who are behind us. So yeah, we just descended fast, but cautiously, I would say, considering the mark.
So you hucked one of the doubles.
We did what?
You hucked one of the doubles.
Oh yeah, got so much air.
So much air.
You did say you had air at one point.
Oh yeah, I did have air. I think I actually did. I was like, woo! I actually enjoyed it. And it had a fun name, and I kept making Tom laugh before we got to there, because I kept being like, we're 3 kilometers from Yaya Ding Dong, like deadpan.
That's from the movie too.
That's from the movie, and
It's
he
from
just
the movie
couldn't
too.
cope with it. He just like kept laughing and being like, stop making me laugh. But I was trying to like make it.
There were a lot of woohoos coming from Chase behind me as well.
Was there?
Woohoo! Yeah.
It was fun despite the mud. But yeah, what happened? So when we last saw you, you were with the other pair that you were only a minute up on at the end of yesterday's stage, and it was the 4 of you, and everyone else just went, bye-bye, you guys go.
This was me yesterday, not today. We're going to set the pace early. Drew was like, let's just chill. And then I think the mindset swapped. I was not feeling the best today, so I was like,
Didn't get communicated.
let's just get some KJs in the legs and like it will
Legs.
settle itself out later down
In
the
the other
road
guy's legs.
in the other guy's legs.
Because we were like, oh, the further the race goes in, the more it favors us because they'll get tired and we won't. That's what happened yesterday. But I wasn't on the same page as Chase, so as soon as we hit the first gravel sector, I pinned it. And to be fair, I thought we were dropping one of the guys, but it was Antoine on an e-bike following us. So I looked back and was like, oh, snap, he's already gapped off the back. So then I picked up the pace.
It was a
It
photographer.
was a photographer. And so I was like, oh. And then so I picked up the pace because I was like, we're going to maximize this. Maybe we'll just separate right here and there. And just because I knew that and I was also thinking this, if we get a gap early, there's nowhere for them to really get it back on us because there's no descending or super steep climbing, which is where they've kind of gained on us in the first 2 days. I was like, if we get a gap early and isolate them in the wind by themselves and they're not getting they're going to have to do the equal amount of work as we do from that point to the finish. I thought that would ultimately maximize our gain on the stage. So I was like, the sooner we get rid of them, the better. And so, but luckily, not long after I looked back and was like, oh, that's a photographer. It wasn't long after that we actually did start to gap them. And then it was like, at first the gap went out pretty slow. And then when we did that descent and went past the eggplant, whatever that thing is, it smelled like really bad eggs. That was when the gap really started to like go out. And then we eventually lost sight of them, I think. And then we were like, okay, let's just keep it smooth and make it all the way to the finish without mishaps.
So what did you end up with gap-wise?
We ended up winning by 8 minutes.
Oh wow, that's a big gap.
Jeez.
So we have a 9-minute lead now.
Any
Most interesting
any
bit.
interesting or worthwhile? To be quite honest, there wasn't much today. I mean, it was a pretty treacherous
There was a section
day.
that looked like Mars. Like
Yeah.
it looked like it was
Yes.
scenery wise. I think we've kind of underplayed how beautiful parts of today were. Like there was scenery where it was like felt like we were on another planet.
Yeah.
We
Very
did
similar
bike,
to the Rift gravel race.
Yes, that's what I was thinking too.
we biked through lava, I think, at one
Like
point.
a whole lava field. I mean, like you looked everywhere and it was just black rock. And the cool thing is like it's not just like smooth black rock. It looks like a sea with waves. So there's all this like sharp black rocks spiking
I
up
think that's where I
everywhere.
punctured.
Oh, that would make sense.
So yeah, the black rock was a bit treacherous.
And
But
then
yeah, I thought it was beautiful.
I really enjoyed the single track too. I think if it would have been dry, it would have been really fun to send a lot of that stuff because everything you could like see the line the whole entire or like all of those little jumps I think would have been easy to clear if it wasn't wet. But I
You think so? You said you would send it.
yeah, I think I would have sent it if I wasn't cold and if it wasn't wet and I was like better at handling a bike and didn't have a fear of heights. I think I would have sent it.
I also obviously would have sent it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Maddie, for sure.
100%.
I think I could see Maddie sending it before Chase.
I was hooting and hollering the whole time behind. I was having fun. I think Drew was at home because it was wet, and I'm like, this is like a cyclocross race for him.
If you would have looked at all of the profiles of every stage, you would have looked at this one and said, that's the easiest stage. And I think after today's stage was when I felt the most beat up. Like my back hurt, my hands hurt. It was also cold and wet,
Today was the highest average power by miles.
probably.
Yeah.
Not most interesting, but favourite part was the